Let's say you're renting it. That's fine. But someone comes in and tries to tell you, oh, you know what?
No, they don't come in. They don't come in. The homeowner tells me that, okay, we're going to split this house up. You're not even occupying majority of this side of the house. We're going to give it to somebody else. You stay over here. They stay over here. Let's have an agreement. I don't own the house.
Here's the thing,
so
man.
what am I going to act like?
There was never any peaceful agreement because the Israelis were the Zionists, the colonists were using violence the entire time. They were using terrorism.
They were using violence the entire time.
Okay, so these
the British mandate was not
violent. They had 3 fucking terrorists.
They were killing the Brits too.
Right.
The Zionists, the King bombing of the King David Hotel, they bombed it. They killed like 100 people.
You're talking about
the state of Israel is created through terrorism.
You're talking about one isolated incident, but you're not talking about any of the Arab incidents.
9/11 was like one isolated incident, and we was chasing Osama bin Laden since. Was it Osama bin Laden or who? We was chasing some fake shit in Iraq since, and that was one incident. Like, come on, bro. What you mean?
Killing Jews, and they were doing all these. I forget the name of the battles that they would do. They would come and kill Jews, and they would kill them.
But they were killing them. They came into the. Here's the thing: the Palestinians were there first, right? They were there, and then
no. What do you mean?
And then the Balfour Declaration.
Myron, you gotta clear it up. You said they were there first. What does that mean?
Okay,
Jews were there as well as the Palestinians.
Okay, the Jews that you're talking about, Mizrahi Jews, aka Arab Jews, that are actually from that region. They were not the same Jews that we're talking about that occupy and run Israel now, which are Ashkenazi Jews from Ukraine, Russia.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Poland. Netanyahu's Polish, okay? Golda Meir were Ukrainian. Menachem Begin, Ukrainian. These people don't have ties to the land like that.
They do have ties to the land.
No, they don't. If you look at there's a reason why DNA tests are heavily regulated in Israel, okay? These people don't have ties to that land. The Jews that you're thinking about, the biblical Jews, are not the same Jews of today. Okay, that is a Hezbollah lie that they use to try to tie themselves to the land and say, "Oh no, look, we're all Jews, we all have Jewish blood, etc." But there's different types of Jews. There's so many different types.
That's not true. There's different type of Jews, but the Ashkenazi Jews and the Jews that were there have different percentages of blood connection to the seed of Abraham. But they're all Jews. Just because they were, I say, forced out of the region at some point and they end up race mixing and coming back to the land, don't mean they have no lineage to the land. That's not true.
Here's the thing.
And they didn't come.
DNA, etc. The Palestinians are the indigenous people to that region.
No, but the Jews that were there are indigenous too. The Jews that were there alongside the Palestinians this entire time.
Yes, some of the Mizrahi Jews, the Arab Jews that are from the Levant, yes. But the Jews that we're talking about today, the modern Jews, the white-looking guys, these Ashkenazis, they're not from that region. They
have a bloodline lineage from the region. Just because they were born in
Poland
and other places doesn't mean that they don't have connection to the bloodline in the region.
And here's the other thing too. You want to know? This is going to debunk your entire argument. The guy the father of Zionism, Theodor Herzl. Did you know that he wanted to go to Argentina first? The only reason he picked Israel, which by the way, this guy is secular. He was an atheist, just like Ben Gurion. I find it interesting that atheists say that God promised them that land, but they don't believe in God. It's another Hezbollah lie. Theodor Herzl, he originally wanted to go to Argentina. But then he only said, you know what, let's go to Palestine because it's going to be easier to sell for a Zionist project. That's a dirty secret that they don't want to tell you.
But you say that, but it's funny that you say that because you can peddle that on one side. You can say that's a legitimate argument, but it's also biblical that the people of Israel will be brought back to the land of Israel.
But
it's biblical. It's also a biblical prophetic reality, and Zionists believe.
Nigga said it is biblical that Israel will return to the land. Oh man. Imagine this nigga is voting for people.
Even that biblical reality, and that was a driving force behind the support from America and American Jews.
And that is exactly why I'm telling you it's all a bunch of BS, because the founder of Zionism and the first prime minister, Ben Gurion, were both atheists. Theodor Herzl.
Just because you atheist don't mean you don't acknowledge. Just because you atheist don't mean you acknowledge the reality. You don't believe in God. Historicity of it. They don't believe in God. They don't have to believe in God to understand the validity of what people are trying to convince them to do or trying to partner with them to do.
Okay.
You don't have to believe in God to understand what the Bible says. What
do you not find it crazy that the guy who said we're gonna go to first he said we're gonna go to Argentina, then he said, you know what, nah. For me to sell this Zionist project, it's going to be better if I say we're going to go to Palestine because we have biblical ties to it, and it's going to be an easier sell, and we'll be able to get more people to come and join us over here. You don't think that that's problematic and that defeats the whole purpose of being biblical or doing it for religion purposes?
If you want to say that, if you say that everything the secular atheist is doing is acting in poor faith, then maybe you have a point. But I don't know that man. I don't know his motives. I don't know exactly what his motives or what he was thinking about when he did it. But there is
he wants to colonize the land.
I'm
is
about
what
to
he
say,
wanted to do.
That's literally what he said in the letter.
Believing that what are we going to do with all these Jewish people? Here's a land. The British mandated that they can return back to the land of origin, and that's what they did. Well, and they went in waves. They didn't just all come back a million people at one time. They came back 15,000, 30,000. 60,000. And what was happening was, as they begin to come back to the land, they begin to buy up land. They only
own 6%. They stole land.
That's what I'm saying. How they begin to buy up land if they only own 6%?
We're killing Palestinians and pushing them out of the villages.
Stupid. There is no war that you can point to that's historically documented that they stole large swaths of land due to war. These people did not have a military set up initially.
They did, but
they had the what's it called, the stern.
When they first came,
yes, you had the Ergun.
There we go.
They did not have a military setup.
Yes, they had
Stern, Ergun, Haganah. That turned into the IDF.
The Ergun, Haganah, Stern gangs.
Perfect.
These gangs terrorized and killed Palestinians, pushed them out of their villages, and this is how they were able to take over, and this is how the Nakba was created. Yes,
Myron, these were battles. These weren't wars. These weren't large swaths of Arabs being taken over. These were small battles of small territory. When you talk about these wars that you're mentioning, that this wasn't large swaths of displacement of Arab people. That's not true. This happened over
750,000 people didn't just leave, didn't just get kicked out of their homes?
No, the
Nakba didn't happen?
No, it did not happen that way. In the war in 1948, there was a displacement of the Arabs to their own people because they went to war and they told their people to vacate the area, and that after they won, they would bring them all back to occupy everywhere the Jews occupied. What happened was they lost, so they couldn't bring the people back like they had promised. This is all historical documentation. And when they lost, the Jewish people kept the land, and then they began to set up boundaries. If they had remained in the land, unlike what their leaders had told them to do, displacing 700,000 people, then we wouldn't have this problem in the first place. They displaced their own people. This wasn't something that was done by the Israelis or the Jewish people.
So they didn't just like the Deir Yassin massacre didn't happen.
No, I'm just reading Myron's chat, and it's like they're kind of like both. They're like, I think it's Myron and Tatum's chat. They're like, that's in Myron's chat.
And all these murders of Palestinians and destroying these
How many people
villages.
died in that massacre? How many people died in that massacre?
A lot. Somewhere between.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a lot. If you look at the history of the massacres that have happened on both sides, you can look it up. You can do it live. The massacres that have happened on both sides, majority of them are Arab.
They making fun of him. I thought they were saying, because niggas kept saying that's not true, Myron. But they making fun of this nigga for keep saying that. That's not true, Myron.
And there were, I think, on record, maybe 1 or 2 massacres that occurred from the Jewish against the Palestinians. The death toll maximum, I think, in any one of those, about 2,000 people.
Well, either way, 50 to 70 were killed.
These were small incursions at times over a large period of time, mostly initiated by Arabs. So this is not some large 700,000 displacement wars that were going on. That didn't happen.
Okay, again, if you got
we have to drink your water, guys.
A colonial project coming in, taking your land, kicking you out of your villages, taking your resources, literally having labor unions, not allowing you to sell your fruit, not allowing you to sell your goods, right? And they're taking up the land as they do this. Of course, there's going to be violence. Of course,
I don't disagree with that.
And they came in and then obviously these partition plans with the Peel Commission, they didn't negotiate in good faith. Then you go to the 47 partition plan. They wanted 56% of the land despite being less than 1/3 of the population, wanting all the good fertile land. They never negotiate in good faith. So of course the Palestinians are going to go ahead and reject the peace plans. And here's the thing, right? I know what you're saying. Hey, might is right. Fine. Let's go ahead and go with might is right. Here's the problem. Israel's never, ever, ever going to get peace until they give the Palestinians a state. The Arab world is not going to recognize them. We're going to always have problems there. Now, here's my biggest issue with all of this.
They don't want a state.
I don't want to support Israel and give them money so they can do a genocide in our name, because my biggest problem is that we give these dickheads the money and the influence and the power for them to do this stuff.
They're not committing a genocide, Myron.
They are doing
They
genocide.
don't want peace.
That's irrefutable.
Can you admit that Palestinians don't want peace with Jews? You just are now, hold on. Let me finish. You just articulated.
I would argue
you just articulated a very good reason why Palestinians never want peace with Jews. You're saying that they stole their land from the very beginning.
Yep.
All these massacres happened and they killed them. Why then are you saying a two-state solution would be somewhat of an objective for Palestinian people when you explain an entire history of what you call an apartheid state, a genocide?
It is.
And then you claim that they want a two-state solution. Why would they want a two-state solution if what you're saying previously is true? They never want a two-state solution. They don't want to identify or accept a
They don't want a
Jewish
two-state
state.
solution?
They don't want to. Palestinians don't want a two-state solution.
So here's the thing.
Every two-state solution proposed was agreed to,
Mhm.
or the Israelis agreed to them. Every one
That's
of them.
not true. Well, let's go through
100%.
it. Okay, so let's
They
go through
agreed
it. The Oslo Accords. The Oslo Accords
look it
was the actual only deal that was probably going to have a framework to actually create a two-state solution. So Yasser Arafat actually conceded, and he conceded a couple of things that were huge that other Palestinians and other Arab nations didn't even want to do. He recognized Israel's right to exist. He denounced violence, and he said that they deserve to live in peace and security. That was a big step. And all he got in exchange was the Palestinian Authority being recognized by the Israeli government. That was supposed to be the framework for them to go ahead and create a two-state solution in the future. Guess what happened? Yitzhak Rabin gets assassinated like a couple of months later, a year later, by a far-right Likud party member. And who takes power? Benjamin Netanyahu. Once Benjamin Netanyahu takes power, he's been caught on video saying, oh yeah, I sabotaged all the Oslo Accords. They're never going to have a two-state solution.
Where's that video at?
He's in the West Bank, right?
No, show me the video and I believe you, bro.
Okay, let me get the link right now.
I've never seen that video.
Right.
Just the other day, he in good faith, he agreed to a peace agreement.
What is wrong with this nigga?
We have five.
And then the next
five
day,
two-state solutions.
and then
proposed.
the next day, he did a broadcast in Hebrew saying like, "Hey, I'm just feigning diplomacy."
If you can say whatever you want, but the agreement is the agreement that he signed off on, and other Arab nations signed off on the same agreement. So he can say whatever he wants. He signed the agreement.
Well, here's
Myron.
the thing: the agreement also doesn't have anything really in stone. It just says, "Oh yeah, we're going to work towards Palestinians' right of self-determination. We're going to work towards it." The Israelis
Myron,
always
that's
use
not-
this
that-
language,
it's-
this BS
Myron,
language.
It said specifically, if they give up their arms, they have asylum. They are allowing, which is I think is insane. They're allowing Hamas soldiers to have asylum in Gaza. If they give up their arms, they give back the hostages, and then they agreed that
that sound like
withdraw.
That sound like a trap, nigga. That sound like a trap. Nigga, that sound like a trap. That sound like as soon as I give up my gun, nigga, they killing me. That's... What the fuck? Oh my
And
god.
they have a phase by phase withdrawal that they agreed to.
That sound like
And
a
they said that
trap.
they would
Shit.
give back 1,000 prisoners or something to Gaza. They would hand them over. It's all a part of the agreement. We signed off on it. Israel signed off on it. Other Arab nations signed off on it as an agreement that we will all come together and help rebuild Gaza, which I don't want to do, which I think that Israel would want to do. But that was a part of the agreement that Netanyahu signed off on. There was 5 two-state solutions that were proposed. Subjectively, you could say it never was in the proper favor, but show me a proposal that they were willing to accept ever.
So
When you don't want to,
because here's the thing, what Hamas wants is a permanent withdrawal of the IDF, right, to leave and end the ceasefire and end the ceasefire permanently, like have a permanent ceasefire. The Israelis
but they
don't want to
can't be
have
in control.
That's fine. They don't give a shit about being in control.
They do care. The leader of Hamas said we will never surrender. They said Hamas is a part of the fabric of society in Gaza.
They said they'll never surrender, as in like they're not going to stop fighting for sovereignty. But what they're
But
saying,
he said that Hamas is a part of society.
I watched the interview.
Gaza.
He literally said we would step down as the leadership.
So
We're
you
fine with
saying
that.
he did? No. Are you saying that he didn't say that Hamas is a part of the fabric of society in Gaza?
He's talking about Palestinians and the Palestinian culture. But what he means by that is, yes, we will step down politically, right? But they want a permanent ceasefire, right? And then a withdrawal of the IDF. But the Israelis don't want to do that. They want to continuously occupy
they agreed to that.
Gaza. No, they're not. They're not pulling out. They're not.
Hey, yo.
They're not actually withdrawing. They're just pulling back the troops, but they're not actually leaving the Gaza Strip. They're going to stay in there and still occupy it. And then here's the other thing too: the Israelis can't be trusted, dude. The Israelis bombed Qatar 2 weeks ago. You can't trust these guys.
America did America approve that? Yes, they did.
They told them as they were doing it. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say.
America tells
Netanyahu.
America tells Netanyahu, turn them jets around when they were headed to Iran and land them. And what did Netanyahu do? He did exactly what Trump told him to do. He told Netanyahu, apologize for bombing in Doha. and Netanyahu apologized.
Okay.
For bombing
Imagine.
He shouldn't even have done it.
Imagine.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Imagine you run up and punch a nigga in the face, and the teacher tell you, apologize to him, and that's it. Like, you don't get in trouble. You just run up and fucking punch a nigga in the face, just full force, and the teacher just say, go apologize to him right now. Imagine.
We have the biggest military base there, right? They went ahead and they did a sneak attack trying to kill the Hamas leadership. They failed, made us look stupid, created a whole bunch of problems in the Gulf. Now Qatar, and they're the middlemen. They're the ones that are supposed to negotiate this stuff.
Qatar is not a friend. Qatar is not a middleman. They're not a true middleman.
We have the biggest military base there.
They're
a huge ally of ours. Huge.
I doubt that they're a huge benefactor ally of ours. We just have a military base there.
The biggest military base in the region.
They literally have Hamas terrorists staying in Qatar.
Here's the thing.
That's why they got bombed in Doha, because they got terrorists there.
Okay.
What are these terrorists doing in Qatar?
Well, by that logic, the IDF needs to get bombed too, because IDF is a terrorist organization as well.
No, they're not. According
they're,
to what?
They're 100% a terrorist. They illegally occupy land. They illegally occupy land. They kill people every single day. They kill kids every single day. They fit the definition of terrorism. 100%.
So that means America is
we shouldn't be supporting them.
Terrorists too.
We should not be supporting
American
them.
military is terrorists too.
No,
right?
we should not be supporting them.
No. America military, according to your definition, are also terrorists as well.
Sure.
We've done some bullshit. We should
Sure.
never went to the Middle East. We should never went.
No. We killed 400,000 people in Afghanistan. So
we shouldn't have been there.
Are we a terrorist organization too?
We shouldn't have. We shouldn't have went there.
No, Myron, answer the question.
No, we're not. We're not. But we did do some bullshit.
And we doing the same thing that they did.
Well, here's the thing. We haven't been involved.
We overthrow governments.
There's a reason
why.
Our
CIA kills people.
Of course.
Our military killed.
Of course.
3.8 million people in Japan. We killed 400,000 people in Iraq. We occupied Iraq, Afghanistan, and that region pretty much for 20 years.
Yeah, but why?
We have done far worse than what the IDF has done.
No, but why?
Because we have war-hungry people that live in our country.
We're controlled by Israel.
The war-hungry people that live in our country.
Our president.
He's breaking them down. He's breaking them down.
Their donors.
He's breaking them down. He's breaking them down.
You can add the Zionist component to it if you want.
That's a huge component. The entire war on terror, is basically destabilizing the Middle East for the benefit of Israel.
No, America Israel is the size of a pinky finger, dude. It's not. That's just fine. Israel.
It's a small country.
It's American interest.
That's exactly why they needed us. Breaking it down.
We have American interests in the region.
See, that's the thing. That's the Hezbollah right there. We get no benefit. We get no benefit from the bullshit that we're doing in the Middle East. The thing is this. We go to war in these Middle Eastern countries for Israel. Why? Because Israel has an enormous amount of lobbying power in the United States, and they control every infrastructure point, whether it's media, the government, big tech, etc. They have an enormous amount of power in the United States and influence, and they use said influence and power to wage a foreign policy that benefits Israel. This is the problem.
No, you're saying that America did all of that, foregoing the benefit of America, foregoing the safety of America and stability of our reputation just for Israel.
Yep. Yes. After JK died, it was cooked.
That's insane.
That is the truth.
Let me put it in.
Let me just say it like this: Jews have too much fucking power in the United States, and it's a problem.
Jews? Which Jews?
The neocons, the tech moguls, the people that run these finance companies, etc. How is it that we have a lobbying group, right? AIPAC. They don't have to register in the FARA at all.
Because they're American citizens.
But they're lobbying on behalf of a foreign government.
And we have other lobbies on behalf of foreign governments.
How is it?
We have other lobbies on behalf of foreign governments in the United States of America.
And they have to register.
No, they're not registered as FARA.
No. They have to register.
No, we do. You want to fact check right on the spot.
They have to register.
Fact check right on the spot. No, they don't.
We have to register.
No, we don't. Listen.
The Chinese, Qatar, all these guys, they're registered.
Myron, if you're Americans lobbying on behalf of interest and relations between America and a foreign country, you don't have to register as FARA. There are more than just the Jewish Israeli lobby in America of American citizens doing it. They don't register as FARA.
So you don't think
if you are operating on for a country, you have to register as FARA.
Okay.
We see that Israel registers FARA when they influence things in America.
so? Brandon, you don't think the Israelis control our foreign policy?
No, they don't control our foreign policy. They lobby on behalf of foreign policy. They do have some control. But they don't control
What the fuck is the difference? What is the difference? Oh my God, nigga said, no, they don't control us. They just lobby it and make it to where, like, if you don't get what they're asking for, you won't get the money. What the fuck are you talking about?
Completely.
Stupid.
You don't think they have a ridiculous amount of say? We've given them billions upon billions of dollars the past year.
Let's put it in perspective, Myron. Who gives more money, FARA or not? Qatar or Israel?
Israel gives more money.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do, and I'll tell you why. Because private donors don't have to. Myron Mandelson gave Trump $100 million this last year. That's just one donor.
Elon Musk gave him $250 million.
Sure. But what I'm trying to say is
doubled what she gave.
Sure. But what I'm trying to say is that we have a bunch of donors that give money, right? Wink, wink, hudge, hudge, to congressmen, to senators, et cetera, help them, et cetera. That none of that gets. A lot of times that stuff doesn't get reported.
No. Hold on. Let's go
they
back
to use an APAC tracker to find it.
Let's go back to fact base. When you go to FARA, Israel is registered FARA. Qatar, China, Japan, Saudi Arabia, all of them. China, Japan, Saudi Arabia. Did I say Qatar? They all give more money than APAC and FARA registered Israeli donations or Israeli lobby. They give far more money.
Okay.
They give twice as much, 20 times as much money as Israel is putting into our.
Do we have congressmen showing up in Chinese uniforms? Do we have anti-Saudi Arabian laws in place to deport college students? Do we have mass censorship for anyone that's critical of Qatar? No, dude. These guys run our country, and to not admit that.
No, Myron. Do we not have laws against what they call it, Islamophobia? Did we not just run through a gamut after September 11th of Islamophobia? You can't say nothing about the Quran in America. Burn the Quran and see what happens in America.
You absolutely can. Muslims get shit on all day.
The fuck?
Muslims get shit on all day.
And so do the Jews.
No, well, hold on. Here's the difference, though. It took October 7th.
You tell me Jews ain't getting ate up right now.
No, they are. But you want to know why? Because they're committing a genocide right now, and this is the first time that people are seeing where their tax dollars are going.
What about the Christians? What about the Christians that are murdered? What about the Christians that are murdered and the Jews that are murdered in Syria? What about the terrorist activity that go on a day-to-day basis from Islamic terrist groups that are killing and beheading people on TV?
We weren't giving Bashar al-Assad billions of dollars a year to kill Druze and Christians, but we give the Israelis billions of dollars a year, and they're doing a whole bunch of bullshit with our tax dollars. How is it
you say
that
Israelis? Can you say that both are doing it? If you want to say Israel is doing it, can't you say that the Islamic organizations are doing the same thing?
We're not paying them to do it.
These other terrorist organizations.
We're paying Israel to do this shit.
Were created because of Israel. Hezbollah was created because Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982. Yes.